So the strategic plan was developed essentially in two phases. The first phase was there was a core series of work groups that were established in the fall. Each of those work groups had a chair and a work group members, and they met weekly. It was an intense period, and when they met weekly over the fall, over the course of about 3 months, and looked at core issues within each of those major buckets. And during those work groups, we not only had the people that were on the work group, but we would also have ad hoc members, content area experts come in to talk about a particular topic. And over the course of those 3 months, then each work group developed a set of recommendations and essentially worked through recommendations that were as specific as possible. And then in December, we had a convening where the work groups came together, and as a full body, the steering committee, again, which was composed of about 20 some members, the steering committee came to agreement on a final set of recommendations that were established as recommended by each of those work groups in the fall. And that was kind of part one. And then part two started in January, and from January through really the middle of June, the work shifted from this development of recommendations to development of an implementation guidelines. And part of the implementation guidelines, really we're talking about, again, how do we make this work? So we know what the recommendations are. How do we get these out to the parties who need to know what they are? And then how do we interface again with the essentially all the parties that we need to have on board in order to be successful? So school districts, medical providers, legislation, the healthcare industry, and third-party reimbursement, insurance companies, and things like that. And then really the development of an interim governance structure to actually implement the implementation plan, because part of what the plan is calling for is not just support from the state and the Division of Public Health, but actually the creation of an interim governance structure that would provide support going forward. So